there is one more thing called file system XML application context. Instead of class path XML application context, I can use file system XML application context. That is one thing. And another thing is this XML bin factory. If I comment this, of course comment this also, now all this are commented out. I am only creating the bin factory. Only one thing I am creating. Nothing happened. Why? I am not using a bean at all. I am not creating a bean. Now I will comment this and I will open this. Only this is there. Everything else is commented out. Now the hello world has been created. Even without asking for a bean, just by loading this XML, it has created a hello world object. That's the difference. If I use application context, it creates all the necessary beans. Whatever bean is there in this, it will create. But in XML bin factory, it doesn't create the bean unless you ask for it. Unless you ask get bean, it will never create the object. Whereas with this, even before asking, it is creating it, keeping it ready, so it will be easy to use it. That is the difference between application context and XML bin factory. That's it. And what is file system application context? I have to give full path of this, or should be in the local directory. Let me put it here. I shifted it. No, it is not present. Could not find the file specifier. File not found exception. Now what I will do is, I will give full path. Where is that file? It is here. This is the skip sequence. Full path is given. Now it's okay. So if I am using file system application context, I should give the full path of the file. It can be anywhere as long as I give the full path, or put it in the current directory. Any one thing I have to do. So file system XML application context does that. Make sense? So that is the difference between file system XML application context and class path XML application context. Class path means it should be in the class path. Whichever path you have determined, that you should give. We will go to singleton. I am making with the same bean of the XML two objects. I am making two objects from the same reference inside the XML. I am setting message, something like this, and getting the message. In this, I am not setting anything, I am just getting the message. Let us check what is the output. So in the hello world object, message is null, nothing is there in this. So the second case, it should come as null, obviously. Perfect, it is coming as null. It is expected. And are they equal? Obj equal obj is false. Correct. The reason is, in the XML I have written scope equal to prototype. If I remove this, if I remove that, now it is true. I am object A. Now what has happened? If I remove that statement, both the objects are same. Both the objects are same. It is saying true, means the references are same, and is getting the message from the first object. So get message is printing I am object A. So the conclusion is that by default Spring creates just one object. And how to make it multiple objects? Write this. Scope equal to prototype. In that case, it becomes multiple objects. So by default, Spring creates singleton. Singleton means a class out of which only one object can be created. More than one you cannot create. We say instance, right? Multiple instances not possible. Only one instance is there. Coming to life cycle. Now in this XML, I have more than normal attributes. I said class, but also I said one more attribute. It's called init method. What is init method? Equal to init. Destroy method equal to destroy. That these two should be there in the hello world. So I would write init and destroy, which I specified in the XML. Now what does it mean? It means that after creating this object, this should be compulsorily called. When you are taking this object out of memory, destroy should be called before taking out of the memory. So this is called before removing from memory, and this is called after creating the object. That means first constructor will come, first this will come, then immediately this will come. Only then you can use it, get message and everything. Okay, and this is called life cycle methods of a beam. Init, destroy, life cycle methods. And how will we know that? Just put this, init method is this and destroy method is this. Now if you want to use the same methods in all the objects, all the beans, you have multiple beans, right? That all the bean has to be having that, then put inside this. Here you put it. Inside the bean stack, put default init method equal to init, default is destroy method equal to destroy. You put it inside the bean stack. Instead of bean tag, each is individual, you put it in the bean stack. It will be applicable throughout. So you will save some lines of code. You need not write this again and again. Any number, n number of beans will be there. All of them init destroy should have. You can see that constructor, then init, and then before closing it is saying destroy. But one more thing you have to do. We are not calling, the container cannot call the destroy method. Who will call it? It is called by the JVM. JVM removes the object from the memory. How will JVM know? It will know because you said context dot register shutdown hook. Without this it will not call. This will inform the JVM that something has to be done before removing it from memory. That something is available with the context, that is saying destroy method has to be called. We registered it, right? The destroy method. So destroy method is registered in the hello XML, and context will register with the JVM that register shutdown hook. So it will call the destroy method before removing from memory. Because shutting down, it will call the destroy method. So this is important. Without this it will not work. To comment out this, destroy will not be called. Java has automatic garbage collection. It will remove it from memory. That's fine. But will it call any method? We wanted to call the method. So what we'll do?
If we want a destroy to be called, then we need.
Yes. Then it will not call this. If you don't register
We'll
it,
just take out.
we'll take out the memory from memory. It will automatically do it. But there is one method called finalize. This will be called 100% sure.
Even automatic garbage collection.
Yes, it will do that.
Okay.
This is always called. This is in object class. Finalize is in object class. So any object removed from memory, this method definitely will be called.
Object in
But
the sense instances, right?
Instances, yes. Any instance in the memory, when it's removing from memory because the reference has been lost, because application will be running so many objects in there. Too many objects will destroy your memory, give out of memory. So that's the reason automatic garbage collector, the garbage collector will keep on removing from memory. But before removing, it will definitely call this, but it will not call this. This we want to call, because in init I will make a database connection, and destroy I will make
Anything we want to
close,
do before
yeah.
we close it.
Correct.
Like a settlement.
So maybe this is a DAO object. If it's a DAO object, the connection is existing with this. So it's serving all the applications, all the classes. But suddenly you want to remove, this has been removed from memory, then leave the connection open. So before that, call the destroy method, close the connection, then get out.
Mostly like you need to get connection and destroy. Close
Yeah,
the
we'll do that way,
connection.
correct. Init is always for that. Only once it is called. Right. So multiple times is not called. So cleaning up operations are all written in destroy, and initializing operation when written in init.
Constructor will not be called all the time, is it? Why we need to write init separately? Constructor, how many times it will go?
See, constructor is called once to create an object, right? But after the object is created, we would like to do something else before going in for usage of this object, right? Because there will be multiple constructors, not only one constructor. If there are multiple constructors, everywhere you write the code.
That one is
It's
there
overloading,
because
yeah.
parameters may.
Yeah, overloading will be there. So then 5 constructors, everywhere you are writing code. So that's not a good idea of writing in constructor. So init is always called only once, that too when the object is created. With any of the constructor you call it. It's definitely called. It's a provision given in Java. You have an init method.
Okay.
Else what you write, you have to write one code, one you have to write, and call it from all the constructors. Write in separate method, and from every constructor you have to call it. Multiple lines of code will be there. So if you define from outside itself, this is the init, call it. And you don't want to call it, simply remove from XML. I don't want to call this. Now if I hard coded it here, I will call here init. From here I call init, it will definitely call it, right? But if in the XML I remove it, it will not get called.
So
If
we need to specify to call it, right?
Of course, just now we saw that, right? In the XML you are
That,
writing init method. See, you written here. If I remove this now, it will get detached. Spring is like that, no? Loose coupling we call it. See, everything is in XML. Even definition of init is also inside XML. You won't have this unless you write it here. So the complete control is with the XML. Even definition of init is inside the XML. So you don't want this, remove it.
But if you want to
But if you write in hello,
condition.
but if you write inside this call, you'll definitely call it. How will you detach it? How will you detach it? You can't detach it.
But normally, will we do anything? Sometimes we want to call init like this.
So, we want to call it, then we write it here.
No,
If you don't want to
it
call it,
says
remove it.
sometimes I want to call. Maybe not all the objects.
It's only called once. Because there in XML called, and that only once. And that way if you write scope as not a prototype, only one bean will be called, right? Multiple will not be bean. So init method you have control of writing it outside. It's called only once. It's an initializing method. That's it. If you don't want to call, remove it.
Init and destroy only will use servlets or any Java class will have init and destroy?
In Spring, everything is a normal object. Just now is anywhere is a servlet. It is not a servlet.
But it's appearing
In Spring you
like
don't write
servlet,
a
no, when we see
in
it.
Spring you never write a servlet. This is a normal application. It's
So
not a
all will
web-based.
be objects being, all will be being
POJOs,
servlet.
plain old Java objects. In Spring, there's advantage of Spring. All are POJOs. Even when you go to MVC also you'll be
What is
writing
that?
POJO, plain old Java object. Like you call it good old friend, something like that. Plain old Java object. It's a nickname given to simple
So the
Java.
project will have 20 classes, 30 classes. That's
All are POJOs, yes.
Oh, okay. But
Simple
very
objects, car,
modular codes,
JG,
right?
everything is simple object, and all the coupling will be done here in the XML. That's the beauty of Spring.
It
Loose
means I
coupling.
will have employee class, I will have DEPT class, but the coupling we do in XML.
XML, correct. Whatever you want, you can use. But you don't write the hard coding anywhere. See here also, when you said constructor, you can call this, then hard coding again, because this is definitely called. But you want to call this, now you have no option. It will be called. Once you write it here, init, call init, then definitely it will call this. Where is the option? Where is the freedom is gone now? It's ultimate freedom. Spring means ultimate freedom of how to create the objects, how to link them together, and it's very easy to detach from here. Just cut it off, finish. Next time it will run, no compilation necessary, no init method.
So the starting point is still main only. The starting point is still void main there only.
Your application is still, it's not called starting point, it's called application. This is my application. That's all. It's not starting. This is my main application. The program starts here, ends here. You use objects inside this.
So this is where we are doing coupling, is it? Hello.xml.
This is where you're loading it. This guy loads that and it creates the context. Context means the environment where it is run. Another thing about this, this is not available in application context. So you should write the class abstract application context. It's not available in abstract application context interface. It is because there is an implementation for this. It has implementation. Interface cannot have implementation. Correct. So it is not there in application context. It is there in abstract application context. You cannot make an object of this because it's abstract. Correct. You can only use the method. One of them is already implemented, register shutdown loop. That's the reason you have to use this, not the interface, because it has meaning, right? What to do.
So this is not creating the instance, right? What does it mean?
It's making the
because
context.
The class is abstract, we cannot create instance. But what does it mean?
Class
New
path
class
XML
path.
application. This is a concrete class. This is not abstract. New, I can't say new abstract application context. I can see new child of that. New class path XML. Like vehicle V is equal to new
So
car.
basically this is inheriting that context.
Correct.
Same like vehicle
This is
car
this is
model.
implementing application context, and this is extending this one. So this is a class implementing application context, and this is a class extending abstract application context. Make sense? From here only you can understand. No need to go to documentation. The name itself says it. No need to go to the
That's
documentation.
not interface, right? That class only, but abstract class.
Yes, it's abstract. So
Then
it's
where
abstract.
is,
Because you're
interface
saying
in it?
registration. No? This is having implementation of application context.
That is a class which is implementing some
application.
interface.
This is the name is saying it's application context. So it's abstract. That means it must be a class. See, Java's naming conventions are like that. It's easy to understand. You can go to documentation and see it. Of course, you have any doubt, you go to documentation and see it. It's available on site, or you can download it. So abstract application context is a class implementing application context interface. And what is this? It's a class extending abstract application context. You can straight away write as application context equal to, but then you can't call this method. It's not there, right? Because this has implementation. This does not have the implementation. This has the implementation. Okay. So
is it like calling this constructor and passing a hello.xml parameter?
String. What is that? It is a file name. Name of the file. It should be there. Name file should be there.
But that is handled within the Spring. We do not know the details.
We don't. Yeah. We don't need to know. We do not know. We don't want to know.
But we need to define hello.xml.
Anything that is spring.xml. Here I wrote spring.xml. See.
Can we just say hello.xml?
It is there here.
But what we do there, these bean IDs, all these types.
Yes, XML is a place where you write all this. This definitely should be written. This should always be written. This also should be written. This you define. The class name you should define, and the ID you should define.
Okay. But if tomorrow I want to do different things, I just change the XML file.
Correct.
Parameter is fine.
That's all. Everything in the XML.
Very
So
nice.
you have the freedom of writing whatever you want, all in the XML. That is why Spring is in such a demand today. Compile. And run. You can see that bean is going through init. Bean will destroy now. Easy to unplug. Just remove this. Now it is not called. So just remove the entry from the XML, and there is no init method anymore. Fine. And there is one thing here, scope equal to, if you want multiple object. Destroy is not called. The scope is singleton only, destroy is called, because there may be multiple objects. So that's the reason it is not called. Not get called. Make sense? This is your life cycle of a bean. Again, it is same as previous example. We will talk something about bean post processor. There is nothing in this, it's still same with the init and destroy, right? And in the hello XML, we are creating one more bean here. These have nothing to do with others. Hello world is there, hello world 2 is there, from the same class we are using. Okay, init, destroy, everything is there. But here, one extra bean is there. And that bean is a special bean because it is implementing bean post processor. An interface, bean post processor. It has two methods: post process before initialization, post process after initialization. That means before init is called and after init is called, these two methods are called. What are the parameters? The bean itself. the bean itself enters this method, and the bean name also enters this method, right? And you return that bean, and you can return any other object. The danger is always there. Instead of the bean, you can return something else. Any object you can return, but this object is returned. Here also same thing. Let us see if it works. You can see that. Before initialization bean, what does the bean see? Hello world and hello world 2. Both are there. It's actually printing that bean. That means the bean is entered here. Correct? The bean is entered here and went out. Return. Here also it entered. That means before, and see init is in middle. Bean is going through init. So this has been called before the init, and this has been called after init. Make sense? How to decouple? Remove the entry. That's it. This acts like your security guard. If security guard is there, we'll check everything. If it's not there, no problem. You can still do it. You can continue without this. But this acts as a post processor. So the interface is, you only have to have it in the memory. The bean post processor should be there in the container. That's all. No other connection anywhere. It's loose coupled, right? Spring.
Show ones and main app.
Main app is same as before.
Same.
There's no difference at all. I just made two objects. Hello world 2, and the get message. This is for destroy.
Because that bean will be not used as get bean, which implements the post processor.
No. If it is there in the XML, it will make all the bean. Spring container creates all the bean present in this XML file. Right, it is there, so it will create it. It is there in the memory, but since it is something special because it is implementing this interface, it is forced to call this. The code is so written in the Spring, so it has to call this before init, and it has to call this after init. So it will call it. Remove it from that. That's it. So as usual, Spring is everything loosely coupled. That is called loose coupling. Nothing is hard coded in, and nowhere you can see the code of this particular class. Just made an entry there, it works. If you remove from the XML, so everything is ultimately the XML. The most important part in Spring is this one. Okay. And if you would like to have, now here you written init method, you written destroy method. Suppose you want a common one. All are having this init and all are having this destroy. Same method. Then just put it here. In the bean tag, beans tag, here just put default init method and put default destroy method. This is same as writing 2 times for each bean you're writing. So if you write this, it will be common for all the beans. No need to repeat this code everywhere.
If the method is not available,
Try it. It is searching for the method. See, couldn't find an init method name, init exists. Throw X error. So the problem with Spring is that everything is runtime. Because compiler doesn't check all this. So here we have, we set hello world equal to new hello world. In Java we'll write like that. And in Java we'll also write hello world 2 is equal to new hello world. You can do this.
No, what I'm saying is actually this is one class only, right? These two are instances, right? World
Correct.
and world.
Hello world and hello world 2 are 2 instances.
So what I'm saying is we don't.
It is having 2 bean. 2 separate beans have been made.
So if
You can,
we want
right?
another instance, we write another bean tag.
You can.
Actually,
Or if
I'm
you, or you
thinking
can do,
for
or you
one
can do here
class,
also. Here also you can do. You can do here also scope is equal to prototype. Now this is singleton. Bean, this is always singleton.
Okay.
Right. Suppose you want this one 2 times in the code. This is not in the code, it's in the XML. In the code you're trying to get again. Hello world again.
Yeah.
So the reference will be hello world is h1 is equal to new this one, hello world. Get bin hello world. Then you say hello world h2 is equal to get hello world. It is the same bin.
Yeah.
Where it is singleton. Unless you write here scope is equal to prototype. Not here. Here. Okay.
Then we can remove the second bean here.
But here I want separate instance, right? I want hello world 2 here itself. I want 2 bean in the memory separately, not in the code. This is already created. The moment Spring starts, all these 3 are created. There are 3 separate beans in the memory. This is get bin hello world, and this is get bin hello world 2. In the other case, Spring does not create 2 bean, only 1 bean will be there. In the code, you will be writing hello world 1, hello world 2. Yes.
So in the code also we can write. We
We
don't need
can.
to define.
Yeah, that is Java, right? But you want to stay away from Java now. You want to go along with Spring. So whatever you want, you write it in Spring XML only. So that becomes hard coded. Now here it is loosely coupled. You can remove it anytime. Correct. That you can't remove. If you start writing in the code, it's all again back to Java kind of programming. Fine. See how easily I removed this. If I written there, big problem would be written there. I cannot decouple it. Now here, now what I'm saying, I'm creating hello world and hello India. Again, in the XML there are 2 of them. There are 2 here. Hello world, hello India. Because this is different class and this is a different class. Also prototype, right? Now when I say, see when I say get bin hello world, it returns a hello world. Excellent. Get bin hello India, it returns a hello India. That's also fine. And I am saying get message 1, get message 2, get message 1 to 3. Here it is message 1, message 2, hello world, hello second world. And here it is get message 1, hello India, hello Namaste India, but there is no message 2. I did not put the value message 2. I could have put it here. I didn't put it deliberately. So when I say get message 2, what will happen? India, right? What will be the value? Null. I should get null here. I didn't set it. Make sense? Obviously, I should not be able to get message to value. I should get null. Let's see what happens. Hello second world came in. From where did this come? It came from the parent. Why it came from parent? It came from parent because I said parent is hello world. Okay, remove this. Null. That means in Spring, even inheritance is possible. Okay. Have I written here extends? Did I write extends here? If I write extends, then again hard coding will happen. It will not be loosely coupled anymore. Okay, getting the idea? So inheritance is also through XML. It works similar to Java inheritance, but it is not exactly same. We're just telling it is inheriting from the parent.
Suppose if the
may-
hello India doesn't have a set message to
This one.
hmm.
Then how will you set it?
I just want to sorry.
Not call it. Keep on.
No, actually, it would have been that's a requirement. It's
No,
compulsory.
Spring need a setter method for setting the value. Server creating name hello India, setting property values, not writable. So did you mean message 1 or message 3 is asking? So it is actually checking that value. It saw message 1, message 3. It is asking you whether did you mean that. Correct. What about this one? No sir, didn't set it. When I say parent, it is actually calling that method. Because the bean has to set it. It has to go into the bean. Having it in the parent is of no use. Because he calling it from the child. So child is, it will try to put it in the child.
So
It
whatever
didn't
there in the parent, it will try to
set it in the child. Yes.
Child.
The same concept. No? So when Java, what is happening? It will inherit from the parent. Correct. So you are overriding them. In Java you will override and put it in the child. Right. But here what Spring will do, will take the value from the parent and try to insert in the child. That it is not writable but now. That problem will come. So it has. So the concept is very simple. In being, it is actually supporting Java. It's not violating anything in Java. So whatever is there in Java, it should support. So Java requires to put value with a set message because it's private. Coming to template. Okay, this is same. No difference. This is also same. Setter, getter, everything is there. What about XML? There is no parent here. See? In this hello world is not there. But what I mentioned is abstract equal to true. This bean become a proxy bean, a parent of the hello India, XXX. Any name you can give. Now out of the blue it will make one object as a parent. So this does not have code. Proxies don't have code. They just created at runtime. And when you say abstract equal to, that means this becomes an abstract class, a parent with an abstract class, and it will set the message and message to as per requirement, which is be copied into this. Now you will get this value. So, you see the value came from the parent. If I remove this again, no. So very clear it is. This has become the parent. Fine, and you can see this. Now that is gone because there is no class. So unless it is a abstract class, it will not generate it. It is required. Can you make an object of it? You can't. Can you make an object of this? You cannot. It's abstract. tried that bean definition is abstract. Cannot make an object of the class because the definition is abstract. We cannot make this. Okay? So it is really abstract. If you want to insert a collection of objects, this requires a collection: list, set, map, properties. All these are collection objects. So set address list, set address set, and so on. How do you set it? From the XML. It's straightforward. Simply say the first property will be address list, list. Close the list, and value. What is the property of list? Ordered, allows duplicates. We know that. So you can see both of this. Both will be there. Those repeated, both will be there. What is the property of set? Unique.
Duplicates.
No, you cannot repeat. So this will disappear. Only one will be there. It will obey all the properties of collections. Map is map. It will have entry and a key value. Okay. So entry is key 1, value India. In this case, third 3 is repeated. So what it will do? It will replace UK with USA. It will replace it. Right. It will not reject your entry. Entry, make an entry, but it will replace the UK because this can't be repeated. Key is unique. Okay. And the last is at properties. You will be seeing this later. Props. Props is the attribute there, and prop key is equal to whatever you can give and the value. Here also key you can't repeat, right, but value you can repeat. You can see that. In the set, only one US is there. In the map, UK got replaced, and property all the values are correct. This is a way to insert in the code because you may need this. This will be using quite often. Next is inner beans. Inner beans is nothing but putting the bean inside another bean. See this bean? It's inside. It is not outside. One of the properties, inside that you put a bean. Then this bean becomes inner bean. No other change in the code. Okay. What is the advantage? This will not be used by anybody else. Only this guy will use it. As a property, it will use it. Okay. Inner bean is for that, right? You don't want to share the bean with somebody else. That time this is useful. So this is all through XML. Now how to auto-wire it. Auto-wiring. So this text editor has a property spell checker. You need to mention that in the property. So you have name, you have spell checker. Have you mentioned that? You did not mention that. Only name is there. Where is spell checker? Object is here. 2 beans are there. 2 spell checker X, spell checker Y. But you said here auto wire by name. Auto wire by name. What is the name? This is setter method. Set spell checker. So the name should be spell checker without X. There is one bean with the name spell checker, and you said by name you have to auto wire, and it is same. It will find a method called set spell checker. It will work by that way. You can practice on Eclipse also, okay? But each you have to make project. It's working. Okay, it's working. Now if I change the name, what will happen? If I put X, what will happen? I'm putting X here. Now there is no name. See here, null pointer. It did not give me any error, but I am trying to use it. I cannot use it. I am trying to use it. It is null now. Null, I cannot use it. If I call this, it will throw null pointer exception. You can see the spell check. This is throwing exception. So it did not throw error in the creation, but it threw error when I am trying to use it. So by name. So you'll be very clear about this, which one to take. Okay. So it knows which to take. The same thing by type. I can also say by type. Auto-wire by name, auto-wire by type. Type means it'll ignore this name. It will only check type is same or not. Is there a type spell checker in this? It will only be worried about that. So okay. There's a big problem here. So if I put here X, what will happen? Any problem here? No problem. Why? It is by type. Is the type there? It is still there. No problem. Okay. The problem will arise if there are two of the same type. There is X and there is Y also. Now what will happen? Which one to take?
Which one to take?
Ambiguity will happen. It's very clear about it. It is saying expected single matching bean, but found two, spell checker X, spell checker Y. No unique bean found. It is trying to set by type. Two are there, which type to take? There's a confusion, there's ambiguity has happened. So in this case, you cannot put two of them. Only one bean should be. Okay? You are supposed to know this. Fine. No, so if it's by type, only one should be there of the same type. One more is there by constructor. Okay? And by constructor is always by type. Fine. It's always by type. So that means you should have a constructor. This is required. It will insert inside this. Okay? It doesn't use setter, it uses the constructor. You can see here. Inside constructor, text editor constructor, both are this. Both have been using the same thing. Both are there, right? So it will inject wherever required. By type it will inject.
The same object.
Yeah, only one is there. Because by type you can't have more than one. So this is by type. So it can be only one. Fine. So this is auto-wire. You don't mention it here. No need to mention here. Just write auto-wire equal to constructor. And this is through XML.